Donald Trump giving a big warning, ladies and gentlemen, warning that, you know what, if Kamala gets her way, if she's actually elected and any of these things happen, you ain't seen nothing yet. You thought the last 3.5 years were bad? Wait for it. Wait for it. Let's play it.
You don't have to imagine what a Kamala Harris presidency would be because you're living through that nightmare right now, and it is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And you're going to stop inflation, but we're going to have a crash, and we're going to have a crash like a 1929 crash if she gets in.
Well, we would have a 1929 crash, and guess what? I don't know. Maybe the crash would stop the inflation, but not really. Because think back to like other societies that have tried things like price controls, which is exactly what she's pitching, Price controls were tried in Weimar, Germany. And guess what? Everybody was like wheeling around those wheelbarrows were the Deutschmarks. Price controls were tried in Venezuela. And guess what happened? In Caracas, the Bolivar, it's actually worth less than toilet paper. Okay, that's what they were using, for not to be crude or anything, but like, I'm sorry. Like, I got to get real, right? Because this is real. It's actually really frightening and sort of surreal that as an American, I'm sitting here listening to this. Let's listen to Kamala Harris, who moments ago unveiled her big economic plan. She's going to control prices, and somehow that's going to inspire competition. Watch.
As Attorney General in California, I went after companies that illegally increased prices, including wholesalers that inflated the price of prescription medication, and companies that conspired with competitors to keep prices of electronics high. I won more than $1 billion for consumers. So believe me, as president, I will go after the bad actors. And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
She can't even say it. Stop listening. She can't even say it. She's trying to say gouging. I'm telling you, it must be in the water at the White House. Biden had the problem. Now Kamala, clearly. You know why? She doesn't understand any of it. This woman is not bright. She doesn't understand economics. She has no policy background. She has no skill, and yet she's running for president of the United States. Let's continue to listen.
My plan will include new penalties for opportunistic companies that exploit crises and break the rules, and we will support smaller food businesses that are trying to play by the rules and get ahead. We will help the food industry become more competitive because I believe competition is the lifeblood of our economy. More competition means lower prices for you and your families.
Okay, lady. So if you believe in competition, guess what? You're not going to set prices. You're not going to have price controls from the federal government. Look, it's been tried and tried again. And FDR tried it here. Didn't work. Venezuela tried it. We know what happened there. Look, it's been tried in every communist and socialist society in the world. It does not work. Plain and simple. Go read your Econ 101 textbook. Oh, maybe she has one. Maybe she has one written by her dad, who's a post-Keynesian economist. Of course, didn't grow up with him, so he didn't really raise her, whatever. But he's at Stanford, and he's kind of lefty, like super lefty, right? He believes that the state should be all. And again, I say to these people, okay, go live in Venezuela. Thank you very much. Go there. Enjoy it. We'll see how that works out. I told you yesterday. I can't believe it. When I was back at CBS, they sent a reporter down there when I was in Venezuela, actually covering how messed up the oil industry had become and how it was on the verge of total decline and implosion and disaster. Because you know what? This is an honest reporter that you're looking at right here. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, all that stuff. It's important. Also hit the bell. But I'm what you see is what you get. And so even though I was working on one of those big networks, I went down there and I did this story on how the oil industry had just been completely devastated, right, in Venezuela. And it really didn't have a shot. Why? Because he put all his cronies in. It was socialism, et cetera. He kicked out anybody who actually wanted to make any money because he was going to take that money, redistribute it to everybody. Oh, and put it into healthcare and socialized medicine. And they sent a reporter down there to say, this is the way of the future. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the problem is all these media organizations, they believe that like in their heart and soul. And then they get paid on top of it to believe it in their heart and soul. So think about how that works. That's some twisted version of socialism meets capitalism means, oh, I can project these ideas onto you in hopes that you'll believe them, because really deep down in my heart, I believe them, except I'm willing to take a big paycheck to say these things. I mean, it's pretty disgusting. Anyway, Donald Trump hitting the nail on the head saying, we got an inflation problem, ladies and gentlemen. Just take a look at eggs and bacon for that matter. Watch.
And then I left because of an election where I got millions of more votes than we did in 2016. We got millions of more, from 10 to 12 million votes more. Think of that. No president has ever gone with that kind of an election uptick. Usually a president will get less. President Obama got less, much less, his second time, but he won. But he got much less. We got 10 to 12 million votes more, and that's not including other votes that we could talk about at another day. But this is their votes, 10 to 12 million more. And we left, and that's when all the problems started. We didn't have these problems. We would have never had a problem with Abdul. We would have never had a problem with anybody, frankly. And I'd have to say, you're looking at things behind me, and they did a nice job. Wow, I haven't gotten to see. That's good. I don't like the tags very much. Look at that, up 46% eggs. Wow. Up 65%. Wow, school lunch is up 65%. How can a family afford that? But look at this over here. What a nice job. I think I'm going to take some of them back to my cottage and have a lot of fun. Like the Cheerios. I haven't seen Cheerios in a long time. I'm going to take them back with me. Bacon is through the roof. They're all through the roof. The milk, everything is bad. And we're going to straighten it out. We're going to bring prices way down. And we'll get it done fast. And with her, it's just talk. She's a radical left San Francisco person who destroyed the place. And I don't know. It's hard to believe that she can even be in the discussion. They had a group of 12 people that she was considering, and they put her name in there, and they marked them, who were the best and who were the worst. And she was actually rated the worst of the 12. They had 12 plus her, 13 people. And they rated her the worst. Now, 6 weeks ago, she was considered to be a failed vice president and a failed administration, a disaster. And now all of these people are talking about her like she's Margaret Thatcher, liberal version. She's not smart. I don't believe she loves our country. And we cannot have our country destroyed because
she's definitely not smart. As for whether or not she loves our country, I'll tell you this, Kamala Harris loves herself. Numero uno. And she's trying to find the most expedient path forward to get numero uno more votes. So what is she proposing? $25,000 to any first-time homeowner. Come one, come all. Step up to the plate. I'm going to give you 25 grand. Like, that's going to actually control housing prices. Think about it. Just think about it for 2 seconds. I know it sounds great. Wouldn't it be great to have $25,000? Only problem with that is you just jack the price up 25K and then some for every single new first-time home buyer. Kamala, just like you guys did with college loans. Like, college actually used to be affordable until the federal government got involved, and now it's outpaced everything, along with healthcare, of course. Because again, you get the federal government involved. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. But you got to be able to add 1 + 1 and wind up with 2. You got to be a logical thinker here, and Kamala Harris is not that. Logical on votes, maybe. Okay, I think this is going to resonate. You know what? Grocery prices are higher. Well, I'm going to wave my magic wand and just tell all those grocery companies that they cannot charge you that much. Well, you know what the grocery companies are going to say? Okay, thanks, Kamala Harris. You know what? Out here. Bye. See ya. Sayonara, lady. Because there is no way a business is going to stay in business and lose money. day after day, week after week, year after year. Go ask Whole Foods in San Francisco, or the Walmarts in San Francisco, or some of the hotels in San Francisco. They've all bailed on California because you get such lawlessness there and such high taxes that it doesn't make any sense. So Kamala, you go with that all day long, and you will devastate America's economy. $25,000 for first-time home buyers. Oh, and by the way, she wants to have a special sweetener for those of you that are first-generation home buyers. I guess that's a nod to all the illegal migrants crossing the border, living here illegally. Guess what? If you pay your rent for 2 years on time, the federal government, courtesy of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, a crazy socialist who doesn't own anything, including his home, not even one stock. I mean, I guess via his pension fund, but he doesn't individually own anything. Another conversation. These people want to give a special sweetener to the illegal migrants who come here because if you've never owned a home in America, well, then you're special, 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 and we're going to give you even more money. I mean, what about America's middle class? Like, what about the people that are doing it right? What about the people that actually pay their bills on time, save enough money to own a house, are hopefully saving up some equity in that home for their retirement? She doesn't care about you. She's going for bigger numbers. She's going for a different crowd. And this is the scary thing right now. This is why we are now on the verge of possibly some devastating consequences. You've heard me talk so much about it in terms of freedom of speech, in terms of what I can say here, what I love about this show. You just saw the subscribe button. Make sure you do subscribe, share, like, all that stuff. What I love about this show is that I have this opportunity to connect so directly with you guys. And without the, paraphernalia, if you would, and the excess of the big network telling you what you can say at any given time. But I can't be so assured that that exists in a regime, and believe me, it would be a regime that's willing to put in price controls. When you get somebody like Tim Walz, who actually says, and we've played this tape for you, that you do not have any kind of right to freedom of speech if you're passing along, quote, misinformation or disinformation. Well, who gets to decide? Tim Walz and Kamala Harris get to decide. That is the problem. Okay? That is the problem. Because all the things that they have told you was misinformation and disinformation, guess what? Most of them, I can go right down the list from Russia. That dossier. I can go to the Hunter Biden laptop that was completely fictitious. Remember, I can go right down the list and I can tell you all about all the things, the virus that didn't come out of the Wuhan lab, all the things that they insisted were misinformation were actually true. So our freedom of speech is under threat. Our economy is under threat. Our survival is under threat. And she's got backing. She's got backing from some senators like this one, Bob Casey, going on to say, you know what? Yeah, hell yeah, we ought to give the federal government some power to control prices. Give me a break. These people, unbelievable. Let's watch Casey.
Well, it's really not at the grocery store level. This is at the corporate level, Willie. They've been making record profits. We've never seen the kind of profits in corporate America the last couple of years. And when they're doing that, they're bragging about increasing prices. So my point is that we should give the federal government the power to investigate just run-of-the-mill price gouging, and you give the people an opportunity to fight back against them. As I said, if they're not engaged in corporate price gouging, they got nothing to worry about. But this is long overdue. People are tired of just accepting higher prices. Now, consumers obviously have a lot of power here, and because I've pointed it out for the better part of 9 or 10 months now, people are putting pressure, and some of that public pressure is working on some of these big corporations. But look, They've had it pretty good. They got the biggest tax cut imaginable, along with the billionaires. That's why they're attacking me in this campaign. They know I won't vote for their tax cuts, and they also know that I'm not going to give up on prosecuting this case on corporate price gouging, and people get it.
Okay, so here's the deal. If there's a monopoly practice going on and they're all getting together and they're conspiring and they're saying, okay, let's raise prices on this, that, and the other. And if I do it, you do it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's illegal. All right? Fair and square. That's illegal as it should be. But if a corporation has to pay more because of Kamala Harris's and Joe Biden's stupid, I mean, there's no other way to describe it other than absolutely, positively stupid energy policy that drove inflation through the roof, combined with, of course, their massive spending. Think about it. I mean, the economy was well on to recover. We were up 30 some odd percent in the third quarter of 2020. And then the fourth quarter, maybe it was the fourth quarter of 2020. And then we get in the first quarter of 2021, we were up like 5%. I mean, we were growing. Until they doubled the stimulus, more than doubled, of what Obama had done that was so outrageous years ago, right? So government gets in there and they start printing money and they start spending money and they give these handouts to everyone and they tell everyone, you can stay home, you don't have to go to work. Guess what? We're just going to give you a check. And then we're going to keep those checks coming because we just voted for these more things. Wow. That's going to give you inflation, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody had any place to spend their money because they kept everyone shut down and then they kept rolling out the checks. That is the reason why we have inflation. And so it combined with lousy energy policy. At the same time, they cut off all energy coming out of Russia. No nat gas. No, you can't take it out of Russia because of Ukraine, etc. They simultaneously decide to shut down energy production in the US of A. We used to be the world's number one, and we were energy self-sufficient. I mean, imagine that. No more, because they want us to be green, you see, but we don't have the capacity to be green. So we're in this like limbo land. They drove prices higher. So corporations had to spend more to get their goods from point A to point B. And consequently, they eventually had to raise prices. Like, it's that simple. It's that simple, Kamala. Go read an Econ 101 book, please. I have several. You could borrow one. My uncle wrote one. He's a capitalist. Any good economist is. Funny little anecdote for you. I grew up in New Hampshire, and the joke was among the folks at the economics department at Dartmouth University, Ivy League school. The joke was all the English professors, they lived on the Vermont side of the border. Dartmouth College, you see, it straddles Vermont and New Hampshire. But New Hampshire is live free or die territory where we have no income tax, no sales tax even. Somehow we still get by. Yeah, what do you know? Somehow it all works. And so the English professors would live on the Vermont side, but every self-respecting economics professor lived in New Hampshire. Of course, Kamala's dad probably would choose Vermont, but, you know, the smart ones lived in New Hampshire. No income tax. Sounds like a good way to go, right? No sales tax. Thank you very much, baby. Anyway, let's move on to this. Oh, I got to show you the consumer price index. That's what I wanted to show you. So this is 2017 through 2024. This is amazing, okay? Prices. How do you like that? Look at where we were in 2017. I keep saying that. I say this to my kids all the time, and I'm like, you know, just a couple years ago, it only cost this to do this. And they're like, and I'm like, I can't believe it. Like, this is how much it is now. But like, this chart kind of explains it all, guys, right? You look at that massive increase. So when they say, oh, inflation's coming down, inflation's not really coming down because it was already high. And even if it's not going up as much as it did the month before, it's still going up. So how do you keep pace with that? Listen, I'm going to tell you, you have to invest. You have to invest. Hear me out on this. You have to invest, which is why I started 76research.com with Rob Horton, a very brilliant stock picker who's been on Wall Street a couple of decades. And I convinced him to come over here and do this because you know what I said? You guys deserve more. He's run mutual funds, billions of dollars in mutual funds, and he's really, really smart about hand selecting the best stocks in each sector. And we've had a tremendous track record. Absolutely tremendous. We've beaten the market. It's absolutely fantastic. I want you to check it out. Okay. So there's 3 portfolios in there plus a 76 report. You can get the whole thing. The Founders Club is the best value, but you can buy one of the portfolios. There's 3 of them, as I said. Take a look at this because there's 10 to 15 names and we handhold you. We don't buy the stocks for you. That's on you. But we tell you what to do. We tell you what to do. And it's important that you understand what to do in an environment like this. There's a lot of volatility. I get it. Rob's actually going to be on 76 Research, the YouTube channel with me coming up right after this show. So I encourage you, peace of mind. I know you go over there. Hey, we're a live show, by the way. So careful what you write. I can see everything. And if I miss it in real time, I'll find it later. So just know all eyes are on you. Anyway, peace of mind. We'll see you guys over there at 76 Research coming up because we have some things to say about AI. I firmly believe, and Rob can walk you through the numbers here, but I firmly believe that there's a lot of change that's still coming. And so for those out there, and there's some investors that are critical about technology, et cetera, oh, it's not all that great. It's great. Okay. It's great. Like I wouldn't be doing this here with you right now. This show is live. This couldn't have happened 2 years ago, even. You needed that network with the giant satellites and the cable connection and this, that, and the other. I mean, it just couldn't happen. When I was a network correspondent and we'd go to cover stories, it was such a premium to get on live, right? You'd be on the evening news show live and you'd get your minute 30 plus maybe 10 seconds of live talk. And it was a big deal because you had to have a satellite truck and it cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And here I am. I'm able to do this with you right here. It's crazy. So there's so much change happening. And it's one of the big reasons I love technology now. We have a big piece on this at 76research.com, 76research.com. We just came out with this today. I also tweeted it. I put it on Facebook. It's everywhere. So I'll put it up on the YouTube channel too, and I'll put it in the show notes. So go check it out.